Do you see this as a two-sided conflict, or do you see it as one-sided and there's clearly a victim and there's clearly a perpetrator?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think it's that.
You were saying that it was the equivalent was like that it was Palestine's land the entire time.
Yes.
Haven't both sides laid claim to the Holy Land for thousands of years?
I mean, if you see the pictures, like we welcome them in the country, and now it's
The victim became the perpetrator.
But I'm curious on something.
What's your name, bro?
Chris,
Chris, my name's Khalid.
nice to meet you.
Assalamu Alaikum, how are you?
Salam. I'm good. How are you?
Laith,
Laith.
my name is Khalid.
Khalid?
Yes, sir. Thomas, you've seen what's been going on the past week with Israel and Palestine, right?
Yeah,
Are you informed?
mostly.
really.
What do you know about Israel and Palestine, the conflict?
I know it's been going on for
If you can raise your voice a little bit.
I know it's been going on for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
It's a pretty messy situation.
Yeah.
Obviously, kind of trying or like already committing like
Genocide.
a genocide and ethnic cleansing, but at the same time, that's what happened to them,
Subhanallah.
and now they're doing it back to the people that we
Subhanallah.
welcomed them. I mean, if you see the pictures, like we welcomed them in the country,
Subhanallah.
and now it's
The victim became the perpetrator.
absolutely,
Subhanallah.
which is really sad. And again, it's just like I wish if more people had just like the right exposure and had to kind of learn from like unbiased sides.
Yes.
Like you can have your opinion, right? I have my opinion. You can have your opinion as long as you learn it from the right side.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because you were saying that it was the equivalent was like that it was Palestine's land the entire time.
Yes.
Haven't both sides laid claim to the Holy Land for thousands of years?
Yeah. The thing is, when you look at international law and you see some things like, for example, conquering has been illegal and not allowed for hundreds of years. Maybe I'll say maybe 200 years, or ever since the birth of the U.S. When you look historically, before 1948, there was no land called Israel. One of the pro-Zionist arguments is that the Jewish people have a claim to the land, that their ancestors had a claim to the land over 2,000 years ago. We say that in Palestine there were Jews living there, and they're called Palestinian Jews. You understand? The Palestinians are the inheritors, they are the people that own the land for over 2,000 years. And we say that what's referred to as the children of Israel, this is the children of Israel. There's 12 tribes. The Jews that we have today come from one of the tribes called Judah. The other and the Judah tribe had the Benjamin tribe with it in the kingdom of Judah, and the other 10 are what's known as the lost 10 tribes of Israel. These lost 10 tribes of Israel were killed off throughout history. Well, the Jews we have today, majority of people that say we have a claim to the land, they're not ethnically Palestinian. Their ancestors are European. Majority of people that went to Israel in 1948 are Ashkenazi Jews, are European Jews, and they're more French or German or English than they are Arab or Palestinian. You see my point? So we're saying that no, the Palestinians have a historical claim to the land, and it's been their land for as long as we know. And in 1948, the Israeli state was created based off of a promise from the British government in 1917 called the Balfour Declaration, which is a promise to the Jewish people, as you know, a promise to them for a homeland in the land of Palestine.
Exposure is kind of different from both sides.
Of course.
And I mean, I don't know if you've seen, but it's kind of ironic how like, if you even look at the news, it's like when our people die, it's like, oh, they died, but when their people, it's like, oh,
killed.
they're killed.
Yes.
Right? They're trying to portray us as these terrorists, as if like nothing has been happening since the first Nakba, which is obviously wrong, you know?
Yes.
And also,
And for anyone that doesn't know, the first Nakba in 1948, over 800,000 Palestinians pushed out of their land.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, even when you bring that up, they kind of just neglect that and say it's not true. But also at the same time, I mean, back in my home in Jordan, my grandpa is Palestinian, and he actually has documents, whether it's currencies, whether it's like land documents, everything that proves that there was an establishment, a country, a state of Palestine,
of course,
before they came in,
of course,
for the Zionist movement, the Holocaust, immigration, all that stuff.
Of course. Do you see this as a two-sided conflict, or do you see it as one-sided, and there's clearly a victim and there's clearly a perpetrator?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think it's like that.
What do you see it as?
I mean, like, look, I don't know enough to correct.
Yeah. Sure. Let me give you some stats so we can be informed. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
As you know, 1948 was the inception of Israel. Before that, there was no state of Israel. It was Palestine before 1948. And it was based off of a declaration, the Balfour Declaration, which was a promise that Britain gave to the Jewish population in 1917, saying that they are giving the Jews a promised land, which is Palestine, current-day Palestine. And since 1948 till today, the Palestinians have been losing land illegally. Even by the UN, they say that Israel has been adding more and more illegal settlements in the land of the Palestinians. And they've been slowly killed off by the Israeli government. If you see the map from 1948 till now, it's crazy how the Palestine was shrinking, and Israel's growing. It's clear as it's an apartheid state, and it's clearly a genocide. And what's sad is that the victim is now the perpetrator.
Christians are dying in Palestine right now.
Yes.
There's a lot of Christian Palestinians, and they're dying for no reason.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I tell people we don't have anything against Jews,
Of course.
but it's against the people that are
The
committing these
Zionists,
acts,
the Zionists, yes.
movement, that stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
No, bro, and us as Muslimin, we have to be informed, bro. We are targeted, brother. Remind me your name? Laith. We sadly, we have to be media trained, bro.
Right.
We cannot just come out and say anything because they'll label us. They say anti-Semitic, they say terrorist, they say all these names. We have nothing against Jewish people. We condemn all types of civilian deaths, whether it's Israeli or Christian or whatever. We condemn that. We don't allow any. In the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he said, "Do not kill women. Do not kill children. Do not kill monks in their ministries.
Not even animals.
Do not kill animals. Do not burn a tree." You know. So we believe that only combatant men that should be fought. And these stats clearly show there's a lopsidedness, bro. It's not a one-sided. It's not a two-sided thing. It's a one-sided thing.
Clarify that I'm not pro-Israel or pro-Palestine. I stay out of it because I don't know enough to make an educated decision on who I would stand with.
Well, let me give you some stats.
But also on top of that, I also don't think that it's the U.S.'s place to be meddling in foreign affairs across anywhere in the world. Like,
I agree.
I'm heavily critical of what we did in South America and what we've been doing in the Middle East. So
I agree.
let me just get that out there.
No, it's no problem. I mean, listen, bro. That's why we're here. We're giving stats. We're giving information so you can have a stance. The people that say that I don't have a stance or I don't have a comment, they are not. We need help. Either because there's a truth and there's a false. There's a right and there's a wrong, right? So this is statistics that I need you to understand and internalize. Since September 2000, out of 8,166 conflict-related deaths, 7,065 are Palestinian. That means 87% of deaths of civilians were Palestinian. That means out of 15 people killed, 13 are Palestinian, and 2 are Israelis. Since 2005, 23 out of every 24 killed are Palestinian. That's around 96% of deaths occurring are Palestinians. Since 2008 till September 2023, 6,407 Palestinians were recorded to have been killed. More than half through missile attacks. I'm almost done. And out of the injuries, there's around 100 since 2008. There's around 158,000 injuries. 152,560 are Palestinian. So does this seem lopsided? Huh?
Those are really meaningful stats.
What is it?
Really meaningful stats.
Really meaningful stats, yes. Yeah. So I mean, one more stat. Since 2014, over 2,100 people have died, mostly innocent civilians. There are numbers between 95 to 99% civilians. 60,000 homes were destroyed. Over 100,000 people were homeless. This is all Palestinians, of course.
Just to make it clear for the audience.
Yeah.
And for me as well.
Raise your voice a little bit, Thomas.
Just to make it clear for the audience and for me as well, what's the time range over this has happened?
These exact stats?
Yeah.
This exact stat was since 2014.
Since 2014.
This was since 2014, 2,100 people have died, mostly innocent civilians. 60,000 homes were destroyed. Over 100,000 people became homeless. 20,000 tons of explosives were fired into the most densely populated area in the world, which is Gaza, the Gaza Strip. 20,000 tons of explosives were dropped on them since 2014. And of those, from 2000 to 2007, 971 children have been killed. 88% of those are Palestinian children, and 12% are Israeli children. And Gaza, the Gaza Strip, as you know, is landlocked. It's sea-locked. The sea is controlled by the Israeli Navy. They're not allowed to leave through the sea. The surrounding countries do not allow the Palestinians to come in as refuge. The Israeli government controls imports and exports and food and aid, and it controls electricity in Gaza and Palestine, and it controls water. 80% of the water is undrinkable. It's contaminated. And these stats are all from the UN, from OSHA. These are like national recognized bodies.
Right.
It's not some type of Palestinian Muslim site. No, bro, this is like public information.
From what I've heard and from what I understand, I think I'm against the Hamas and the whole, like, because I'm pretty sure from what I understand they're like a terrorist organization. I'm against that, but at the same time I'm against the Israeli government, if that makes sense.
The thing is, bro, the Israeli government has portrayed this issue as Israel versus Hamas, the terrorist group. We say no.
Well, I'm aware it's not like that.
No, it's Israel versus Palestine, the Palestinian people. They're the ones being persecuted. Like the stats I just stated, over 95% of these people that are dying, they're civilians. They're not Hamas, they're not militants.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, when you come and you tell me that, oh, I'm attacking Hamas, and then you bomb a hospital, what are you doing there?
No, I'm not saying that I agree with the attacks. I'm saying, as far as I'm, like, from what I understand, Hamas is a terrorist group, and so I'm against them.
But you're
like,
pro-Palestinian.
Yeah, but I'm also like anti what the Israeli government is doing.
So what you're saying now is that you don't align with the ideas of the Hamas, but you align your ideas and your support with the Palestinian people as a people, and you support their right to defend the land and to get their land back and to survive and all these things, right?
Yes.
Recently, like, I think maybe last night, Israel ordered the evacuation of the Gaza Strip, right?
Yes. Over 1 million people.
1 million people.
In 24 hours, they went.
24
Yes.
hours?
Yeah. And the northern part.
It's not good.
Yeah. The northern part of the Gaza Strip. They said you have 24 hours for over 1 million people living there. You have 24 hours to leave because we're bombing the place after 24 hours.
Right.
So what? You have to put this in perspective, Thomas. The Israeli government is one of the world's strongest governments, backed by the likes of the U.S. and the U.K. and the European Union, and they're one of the most. They have the highest tech. They have the highest budgets in terms of warfare, and they're going against the people that have no aid, no help, not even from their own Arab sister countries.
Yeah. I agree that this is, like, as far as human rights goes and as far as like a humanitarian crisis, it will, like, civilians will be killed.
Yes, and they have been.
Actions need to be taken to prevent that, for sure.
Yes.
I appreciate the time.
Yes.
I really gotta go.
No, I understand, Brian. I appreciate your time. We're just here to inform the people so people can have a good understanding of what's going on.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Have a good day, Thomas.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll see you soon.